At 2 a.m. on a freezing Tuesday morning, single dad Mark Daniels was jolted awake by the sound of his phone ringing. At first he thought it might be the school nurse or maybe a wrong number. He was used to late-night interruptions. His 6-year-old daughter Lily still had nightmares sometimes, but he wasn't used to a stranger sobbing on the line, begging him not to hang up. The voice on the phone belonged to a young woman. She could barely breathe between her tears. "Please," she whispered. I don't know who else to call. Can you help me? I don't want to be alone." Mark didn't know her name. Didn't know where she was. Didn't know why his number had even been dialed. But there was something in her voice, something lost and scared, that reached into him. And even though he didn't fully understand why, he felt that if he hung up, something terrible might happen. Before the call disconnected, she whispered the address. A place far nicer than anywhere he'd ever been. An estate on the edge of town. And without thinking, Mark grabbed his jacket, left a note for Lily, and drove through the icy night toward a stranger who needed help. If you enjoy emotional, uplifting stories like this, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment to support the channel. Your engagement helps us grow and share more heartwarming tales on Soul Moments Story. Mark hadn't always been the kind of man who rushed toward trouble. When his ex-wife left 2 years earlier, he had felt broken and hollow. Raising Lily alone wasn't easy, especially working long hours as a mechanic. Most nights, he fell asleep before he could finish folding the laundry or checking Lily's homework. But still, he tried to be a good man. A decent man. A man Lily could look up to. That night, as he drove through the empty town, he felt strangely calm. The snow was falling gently, almost sparkling in the headlights. The world was still, as if holding its breath. He wondered if he was being foolish, if this whole thing was a prank or a mistake. But something in his heart told him to keep going. When he reached the address, he couldn't believe his eyes. The house was enormous, sitting behind tall iron gates that swung open automatically as he approached. The driveway was long and lined with trees wrapped in soft white lights. It looked like a place he had only seen on Christmas ads or postcards. He parked near the front steps and hesitated before knocking. The door wasn't locked. When it creaked open, he called out softly. "Hello. It's Mark. You called me." The foyer was beautiful, but dark. Only one lamp was on, casting a warm glow over the marble floors. Then he saw her, sitting on the bottom stair, hugging her knees, shaking. She was young, maybe mid-20s, wearing a silk robe and slippers. A tissue was crumpled in one hand. "You're not him," she whispered. Mark knelt down. "I'm sorry if I startled you. I got a call. I think you dialed the wrong number." She shook her head, tears running freely now. "I was trying to call my father's business partner. He's the only one who ever shows up. But I must have typed one digit wrong." Mark nodded gently. "But I showed up." The woman let out a small, broken laugh. "Yeah. You did." Her name was Emily Hartwell, daughter of Jonathan Hartwell, owner of one of the largest real estate companies in the state. Mark recognized the name instantly, though he never imagined he'd be standing in their home. She told him her father had died just 3 weeks earlier. She had been handling legal meetings, funeral arrangements, family arguments, and journalists. Everybody wanted something from her. Nobody just wanted her. That night, she had a panic attack, her first. She couldn't breathe. She felt like the walls were closing in. Her father's old business partner had always been her safe person, but Mark was the one who answered. Mark didn't know much about panic attacks, but he knew enough about hurting, about being overwhelmed, about life being too heavy. He sat next to her on the cold stair and let her talk. Just talk. About her father. About how lonely she felt in a house filled with people who didn't really know her. How terrified she was that she didn't know how to live without him. Mark listened, offering little bits of kindness. "You're doing the best you can," he said softly. "And it's okay to not be okay." At some point, she fell asleep. He didn't dare move her, so he carried her gently to the couch in the living room, covered her with a blanket he found draped over a chair, and made sure she was warm. He scribbled his number on a sticky note and left it on the coffee table in case she woke up scared. He had done his part, he thought. Kindness didn't have to be complicated. He went home before Lily woke up. He didn't expect to hear from Emily again. But the next morning, as he was making pancakes for Lily, his phone buzzed with a text, "Thank you for last night. I don't know what would have happened if you hadn't come. Can I see you? Just to say thank you properly." Mark stared at the phone, confused. People didn't usually follow up after he helped them. He wasn't used to being seen. Or appreciated. And yet, something tugged at him. They met that afternoon at a small cafe. Emily looked different in daylight, stronger, calmer, though the sadness still sat behind her eyes. She insisted on buying him lunch. She asked him questions, listened to his answers, laughed at his awkward jokes. Then she asked if he had a daughter. He told her about Lily, her drawings, her favorite dinosaur toys, the way she insisted on wearing mismatched socks. Emily's smile brightened at the mention of her. "Do you think I could meet her sometime?" Emily asked softly. Mark hesitated. "Why?" Emily shrugged, eyes dropping. "I don't know. Kids don't pretend. They don't expect anything complicated. I think I just miss that kind of simplicity. That kind of truth." They met again the following week, this time with Lily. Emily showed up with a small stuffed penguin and the shyest smile. Lily took to her instantly. Within minutes, the two were sitting on the grass outside the cafe, drawing chalk unicorns on the sidewalk. From then on, the three of them met often. Sometimes Emily invited them to her house for dinner. Sometimes they went to the park. Sometimes she joined them for grocery shopping or school events. Emily became a quiet, steady presence in their lives, and Lily adored her. But one night, about a month after that first call, Emily admitted something. She said she was scared Mark might feel like she was using him, that she didn't want him to think she needed saving. Mark shook his head instantly. "You don't need saving," he said. "You just needed someone to sit with you on the stairs at 2 in the morning. And that's okay. Everyone needs someone sometimes." She looked at him for a long time, eyes soft. "You make the world feel less heavy," she whispered. Something changed between them after that. Something gentle and unspoken. But life wasn't simple. Emily had responsibilities, huge ones. A company to manage. Lawyers to navigate. Public pressure. And Mark, he was just a mechanic, a single dad working paycheck to paycheck. Their worlds were miles apart. He tried to step back for her sake. He didn't want to pull her away from her world or complicate her life. But the moment he pulled back, Emily noticed. She showed up at his house one evening, breathless and determined. "You don't get to disappear," she said, standing on his porch. "Not when you're the only person who didn't want something from me. Not when you and Lily have become family to me." Mark didn't know what to say. He wasn't rich. He wasn't important. He was just him. And maybe that was enough. Emily stepped closer, voice trembling. "I didn't need you to save me. I just needed you to stay." Mark felt the truth of it down to his bones. Kindness wasn't about fixing someone. It was about being there. Showing up. Listening. Loving without conditions. He took her hand. "Then stay with us too," he whispered. Over the next year, their lives blended slowly and naturally. Emily helped Lily with school projects. Mark helped Emily clean out her father's old office, holding her hand when the memories were too painful. They found comfort in each other, healing in quiet moments, and joy in small things, pancake breakfasts, movie nights, Lily's bedtime stories. People whispered, of course. They questioned why a wealthy young heiress would choose a mechanic with a little girl. But she didn't care. And neither did Mark. Because sometimes the biggest acts of kindness start with a wrong number. Sometimes the people we're meant to love come to us in the most unexpected ways. And sometimes, showing up for someone, just once, changes everything. Kindness doesn't need to be grand. It doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be real. Mark answered a call meant for someone else, but it changed 3 lives forever. Let this story remind you that even the smallest act of compassion can become the start of something incredible. Every moment of kindness matters. Every choice to show up counts. And you never know whose life,